Nice to have you with us on a Monday on the 11th day of the month of June. Talking about the world of sports. Good to have you with us on this afternoon program with the crew here, Billy Z, Eddie Erickson, and our good buddy, of course, Colin Schmeling. Getting ready for Shinnecock. The station goes out to Long Island tomorrow. Steve's all set. We sent him out to get some Gap jeans today. He's got the black socks. He's got the white socks and the black loafers. He's got the Dobbs Ferry haircut going. He looks like a Goomba, like he can look, so it should be a good day for him as far as tomorrow is concerned. He's going to leave his house up there in Mount Kisco about 9 o'clock in the morning, and let's see if he can get out to Shinnecock by 1. Keep your fingers crossed. Good to have you with us on the great SiriusXM 82 as we chat to you about what's going on as far as the world of sports is concerned on this Monday afternoon as we chat. Henry's in, our new intern for the summer, so we'll keep him moving here as well. His first visit in New York City as we chat about what's cooking. He goes to the University of Illinois. All right, a lot to do here on a busy day. And since I wasn't here on Friday, I'm going to count this day as sort of the conclusion of the spring. And I usually look at the U.S. Open as that, but I'll look at it as the conclusion of the spring and the conclusion of championships with what happened on Thursday with Ovechkin, Friday with the Warriors, Saturday with Halep, Sunday and then the Belmont, and then Sunday with Nadal. We have the 5 of them here who were crowned champions as we cap the, really the springtime and start to think about some summer and what is going on as far as football and all those kinds of things are concerned, middle of the baseball season and what have you. I'll take them one at a time. I haven't been really... I wasn't as moved as I had been for a while, as much as I was on Thursday night. Boy, I was so happy for Ovechkin, and I was great to see him get a championship. I really was. I love what I saw out of Ovechkin. He did a tremendous job in this postseason. It's funny, probably not the best Capital team they've ever had, but they weren't stonewalled by a hot goalie a la Lundqvist, a guy I thought about a lot, by the way, when they were celebrating on Thursday night, because Lundqvist is the next great player, who deserves to have a Stanley Cup by his name. But, listen, the Capitals, they had a lot of issues they had to go through as far as the regular season is concerned, just getting through the idea that they had blown the series the year before to Pittsburgh, Barry Trotz's last year, and, of course, all the free agent scenarios for that franchise. They obviously had a very difficult playoff run. Hard to believe. They lost those first 2 games at home to Columbus, and sometimes it takes that kind of get into the abyss before you can get yourself out of it. They won that double overtime game in Columbus, game 3 in middle of April, and from that point on, they really were a team kind of on a mission. 4 straight against the Blue Jackets, trouble early against the Penguins, but the Blue Jackets series served them well. They came back and did a great job then and beat Pittsburgh 4 out of their next 5 after losing the first game with a 2-0 lead. Obviously, 2 elimination games against Tampa, and then I lose the first game to the Vegas team, and they come back and win 4 straight. And they were the better team than Vegas. Fleury wasn't as good as he had been. He was still okay, but he didn't stand on his head as he had stood on his head in the first 3 rounds of the postseason for that expansion team. I think it would have been an absolute crime to have Vegas go out there and win a Stanley Cup. And I'll tell you something right now about Vegas. They took a huge hit. You see how many Capital fans were in the building there on Thursday night? Listen, I know the Cubs invaded Cleveland, but those are the Cubs, all right? The fan in Game 7 at the Jake, the year the Indians, and the Cubs beat the Indians in the 7th game a couple of years ago. There was a bunch of Cub fans there, and I always said that was a bad blemish on the city of Cleveland. This is a horrendous blemish on Vegas. That's a small arena, and there was 1 million Capital fans. As Eddie Ochek said, about 35% were Capital fans on Thursday night. They deserve it. They were the old guard, 1974, the whole 9 yards. But I got goosebumps watching Ovechkin carry that cup. I was very happy for him. So that's item number 1. Item number 2 is the Friday night Golden State game. And I had a lot of trouble getting... First off, my golf on Friday wore me out. 27 holes, the 109 yards. I'll get into that for Huck a little bit later on today. And maybe the great Bob Jones, who had to go witness another chipping exhibition from Mars. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Last year, Bob is still existing, and the poor guy still laments the idea that he's got to see me chip a ball from 10 yards off a green. Maybe he a little bit later on. But anyway, time I got to the Golden State game, I didn't like the idea of the game anyway. I thought there was no chance that the Cavaliers, I thought they might win a game 4, but it sounds like the Warriors were very motivated at the end of the season on June 8th. They played really well. I know that LeBron was passive that night, didn't play great, whether it was a broken hand or not, and I don't need a cast or a brace at the post-game press conference either, so I'm a little down on that too. All right, LeBron, oh, fine, you got hurt. We'll buy that. I don't care how he got hurt. I don't mind if he banged his hand against the blackboard after game 1. That's happened a million times. I'm not going to kill him for that. I didn't need the brace. I didn't even see it, but the brace on his hand following game 4. The thing I'm going to say about Golden State is essentially this. I don't consider them a dynasty, and I know this is tricky to say this, but I don't consider them a dynasty because of the way they got Durant. They didn't get Durant via a trade. They didn't get Durant via a draft pick. They didn't get Durant, via craftiness by their front office and outmaneuvering somebody a la Ainge getting Tatum from Philadelphia a couple years ago. I don't look at it that way at all. They got Durant because Durant took the easy way out. Now, he's a great player. He's earned every nickel. He's done a great job. MVP, second year in a row. He has his moments where he can get into that Oklahoma City mode with Westbrook where he dribbles, shoots. So I understand that. But overall, we all know, he played wonderfully in this series. He was great in game 2, great in game 3, 43 in that third game. And last year, of course, he was superb too. So nobody's going to say that he has not earned the 2 titles with the Warriors, and he's been a missing piece for him. They did win a championship, however, and 73 games without him. So we're not going to go too crazy about, how much they needed him, but I can't look at Golden State as the dynasty, quote unquote, like I look at the old time teams and some of these other franchises when in fact Durant took the easy way out. It's simple. I mean, and that's part of the Durant history. Now, I know you can sit there and say that I'm out of line, that let it go. It's been a long time now. He's not the only one. Bottom line is he took the easy way out. He left the team that was 3-1 up in the series against Golden State. He couldn't close the door, he and Westbrook. And then they off, a lot of romancing by a lot of teams, including Tom Brady and the Patriots, to try to get him to go to the Celtics. He decides to flop, and show up in Golden State, a team that had just won 73 games. And so because of that, I don't look at them in the same dynasty way as I look at some of these other franchises that were crafty, Auerbach, Celtics, trades, obviously the Parrish McHale deal, trades with Golden State for Joe Barry Carroll, Dennis Johnson. I mean, that's the way you put together a dynasty, by out-crafting your opposition, by outsmarting them, by making moves, by using, your drafting slot and doing a good job there, finding players. I mean, that's how you build a dynasty, and then keeping that group together. Durant just kind of plopped in on the couch, and I don't look, and they gave him a lot of money, and he plopped in. I mean, they were fortunate. Now, listen, that's part of the day. That's part of the deal now in the NBA. Players want to play with their buddies. I understand that. We're going to deal with that with LeBron here now, too, in the next couple of months or next month or so. But because of that, I'm going to stay away from the dynasty run. I mean, the Cavaliers, were a lottery team without LeBron. We will see how they handle it now with what he does. I think the only place he's going to go is L.A. I don't think he's going to play for the 76ers. I don't think he's going to play for Houston. He's got no ties to Houston. Philadelphia, I don't think he even wants it, or they want him, but you get the idea. Philadelphia likes the way they're doing things. I don't think he's going to Philadelphia. He's got no connection to that city. I think it's going to be the Lakers or the Clippers. I put the Clippers in there because of Jerry West. I think it's going to be the Lakers or the Clippers, and he's probably going to go with George if he does go and ends up there. You would think he wouldn't stay in Cleveland because he's left in the past. He doesn't owe Cleveland anything. I don't know how to read it with LeBron. We're going to get enough of it in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And he loves the drama anyway. He's a drama queen. We're going to learn a lot about it now. He has the right to go. I mean, he's won a championship. He did what he had to do. He's got a right to go. One thing about LeBron, though, with what he decides to do, especially if he decides to stay, stop staying on a one-year contract so we got to go through this nonsense year after year after year. You can't kill the Cavalier franchise in the front office for not being able to build a team properly when nobody has any idea how long you're going to be with the team. That's why Kyrie, maybe one of the reasons why Irving wanted out of there, because he didn't want to be left holding the bag when LeBron left. And that drives you crazy. I mean, if you want to stay with Cleveland, sign a 5-year contract and see what the Cavaliers can put together, knowing that they can maybe recruit some free agents because you're going to be there for the next 5 years. So, I mean, this one, and I'll do it for a year or two, and then we'll go test the waters again. Drives you crazy. And I didn't need to cast on the hand there after game 4. Well, I hurt myself, blah, blah, blah. I don't need that. I don't blame him at all for losing the 4th game. I could care less about if he was passive or not. It's a silly comparison to the series in Boston in Game 6 5-6 years ago. It's a silly comparison. This team was completely outmatched. That was series with the Celtics was 3-2. This was not. So, I mean, to me, if he didn't show up on Friday, I could care less. They're not as good as Golden State. Talent won that series. We all know that. That's item number 3. Or item number 2. Item number 3 is justify. The race itself, really wasn't much start to finish. I'm weird with justify. I thought early when I saw him at the Derby that this horse was tremendous. Not that I know anything about horse racing, but I mentioned that about a month or so ago, how much I love the horse. I got off him a little bit with the Preakness, which he was fortunate to win and hang on. I didn't like how this was handled as far as Audible was concerned. And now you're hearing about the boxing out scenario with one of the owners getting annoyed about his jockey and horse getting boxed out, sort of as a tandem to allow Justify to break out and do a great job. We'll talk to Jerry Bailey about that in his first hour, Hall of Fame jock. I don't know how to read that. I mean, I do know that you can make the argument that no matter what they did, they could have brought Seattle Slew back, that maybe they couldn't have beaten this horse anyway. Wire to wire, comfortably ahead. Great call by Larry Comas at the end, by the way. Great performance. Time wasn't great. 2:28, 2:26 for American Farah, and 2:24 for Secretariat. So I think each second represents about 7. I'm not sure. Each second represents 3 or 4 lengths. But regardless, 2:28, 2:24 Secretariat. 2 seconds slower than American Farah, but the horse did what he had to do. It's a tremendous job, great accomplishment. I don't know how to. I don't quite know how I feel about it regarding this horse with Audible, with the idea that maybe 3 years ago we had a champion, a Triple Crown, so maybe it's not as big a deal to me. I watched it. I made sure I got in front of the TV set with it. Most people that I were with wanted to make sure they saw it too. On Saturday, playing golf again, all the guys there said I got to get to the race, the Belmont. So people were aware of it, but I don't know if it moved them as say it did American Farah. That's 3. I did not see the Hollop win against Stevens. It's a great win for her. 4-4 second set after being in some trouble. She lost the first set, down a break in the second set. She comes back, wins 4 games in a row. Stevens comes back to win 2. It's 4 games apiece. That 9th game, second set. Hollop has obviously been terrible in finals, 0-3 in Grand Slam finals, and has a tendency to choke. She hung in there. She got the job done, so we give her credit for her first major. Our pal Darren Cahill is her coach, so we like that. And then, of course, Nadal yesterday. I watched the first set in the last 3-4 games. It's almost, he's too good. I mean, he's an incredible clay court player. It's boring. It's almost like watching Golden State. I mean, it's boring. He's too good. And he's not exactly a fun guy to watch on that court because he takes forever to serve. He fiddles around. He's got all these little idiosyncrasies, and nobody can beat him there. 11 times. It's pretty damn good at the French Open. Now, remember, 11 of his 17 majors have been in Paris. And it's not going to slow down anytime soon. 11 times he's won the French Open. 11. That's amazing when you think about it. 11. Now, no Federer. I didn't make sure I saw the whole thing. I was on top of it, but I knew Thiem didn't have a chance. I told a good buddy of mine, Bill Mumford, who used to work for the USDA, on Saturday night at a party. Bill, if Thiem gets a set, he did well, and Thiem does not get a set. So there you go. 6-4, 6-3, and 6-2. We'll see you tomorrow. That's your championship weekend in sports. Most moved by Ovechkin. Not bothered by LeBron playing passively in the 4th game. Could have done without the cast in the postgame. Justified didn't move me as much as American Farah did. I am a little bothered by the whole shenanigans of the race scenario with especially Audible. And, of course, the 2 title championship. I didn't see the first one. I did watch Nadal, of course, as far as the French Open is concerned. So what we have left this week is Shinnecock. And we'll get to that in the course of our day and be there all day tomorrow. Good to have you with us on this busy afternoon. It's 15 after the hour. We continue. I'm Mad Dog Russo.